Hey, and welcome to season 3 of the Tech Journey Insights podcast with me, Beverly Clarke, and co-host
Rebecca Franks,
where we discuss what's happening on our tech journeys. We share our insights with you and we share tips to help you in your tech journey. And in this season, we are joined by special guests, and we are going to introduce our special guest for this episode shortly. But before we get into that, let's talk about what's new on our journeys so you can get caught up with us to find out what's going on in our tech journeys. We're going to start with you, Rebecca. What's new in your tech journey?
Okay, so I have got these beautiful posters. So my company, Flip Computing, we've created this completely free 3D creation tool called Flock XR, and we've got a unit of work for that. And alongside that are these posters. So we've got 4 beautiful posters. Do you think they're beautiful, Beverly? I hope
Yes,
you do.
I do. You're putting me on the spot there, but I think they're wonderful.
Yeah. So we've got 4 posters that you can, if you come and speak to us, we're at a lot of conferences over the summer. So if you come and have a chat with us, we can give you, so there's 4 to collect, and they give you a little bit about key terms. There's a did you know fact, there's a career spotlight, which is really important, and then just some example code from Flock XR with a short link to a little project to have a go at. So they're really cool posters. So these are just like hot off the press. I've got a massive pile of them in front of me over there, and we're trying to get them out to as many people as possible. So yeah, do come and chat with us at the conferences over the summer, and you might grab your own.
They look
So
amazing.
what's
They
up with
really
you?
do.
What's new with you,
Your own
Beverly?
posters. Yeah, they look great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so onto my tech journey. Let me share with you what's going on my tech journey. So I'm really excited about this one. I am on what's called the task force. Essentially, I'm a member of the Department for Education, Digital, AI and Technology Task and Finish Group. So we're advising as a group of experts. I'm wearing that hat, an expert hat, advising the UK government on all things digital, AI and technology within education. And the work we're doing is going to feed into the curriculum and assessment final review that's coming up due later on this year. So it's exciting to be a part of this. It's an exciting time in history, and it's an exciting time in education. And I'm really proud to be a part of that. So that's
it's a very important job, and we've got to get it right this time. It absolutely has to work for everybody. So it's an important job, and I absolutely trust you to be fighting the corner of the young people out there. So well done.
Thank you very much.
So we introduce the guest.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, before we introduce the guest, I almost forgot to let our listeners know, Tech Journey Insights across all the socials is where you can find us. So, your TikTok, your YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, that's where you can find us. Okay, so this week's very special guest is Leonie Briggs. So let's bring Leonie in.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Leonie.
Hello, Leonie. So where are you today, Leonie?
So I'm based in Barnsley, up in South Yorkshire.
Fantastic. So let me just give you a short bio about Leonie. So Leonie is the founder of Amazelab, and she's also the writer of award-winning STEAM and educational resources. And recently, she's been named as one of the top 100 female entrepreneurs of 2025. Very well done.
Oh, well done. Well done.
So, Leonie, tell us about Amazelab and what led you to set up Amazelab.
Oh, thank you so much. So Amazelab actually started quite accidentally, right from my dining room here in Barnsley. I was incredibly passionate about young people not missing out on practical science skills during the pandemic. We went into lockdown and I was honestly concerned as a teacher myself. During the COVID pandemic, I was working part-time in a comprehensive secondary school in Barnsley. And we did not know how long this lockdown was going to last for. And I really did not want the amazing young people I was working with to lose the skills that we'd been working so hard on. I also think that science is that really unique subject in school where you get to do really exciting things down that science corridor. And I was constantly going to miss out on that as well. So I completely raided my house from the kitchen to the garage, everywhere in between. And I started to develop really simple, safe, effective experiments that everybody could get involved with. I completely destroyed my dining room table. It was covered in colours, science experiments, absolutely everything. And I mean, it was destroyed. And we did have to buy a new one that I'm touching right now. So at the time, my husband was on furlough because my husband is a graphic designer. So obviously it just didn't require a lot of the graphic design work during lockdown. And it was a combination, I think, if he's honest, of being slightly ashamed or embarrassed by the quality of fact sheets and handouts and PowerPoints that I was sending out to people to accompany the work that we were doing. So David said to me, "Oh, Leonie, I think you need some help with this. Let me help you. You write the resources and I'll turn them into beautiful branded fact sheets that people can follow, make them really easy to use." And it then all just completely snowballed from there. We then realised that in-house, we'd got something really quite unique that I was able to write and deliver the workshops as a science educator. And David, as brand manager, was able to create all these amazing resources. So we ended up establishing Amazelab on the 21st of July, 2020 officially. So it's our 5th birthday this year that I am incredibly proud and excited about. Thank you very much. So myself and David are the founding members of Amazelab. And yet it all really came from this dining room in Barnsley, quite accidentally, but from broadcasting live to the nation and really exciting contacts and people contacting us, asking if we could create their resources and do the same for them. That's where it all started, really.
Oh, fantastic. It's amazing. It's inspiring. So many projects came out of the lockdown when people were locked away, and our creativity really flourished. Really happy to hear that. And I'm going to be a bit cheeky and I'm going to ask you a question. What's it like working with your husband all the time?
I know. Now, that is a great question. And I'll be completely honest, it's something that years ago, we never, ever would have said we were going to do. We have known each other for an incredibly long time. Myself and David were actually in the same form at secondary school. So
wow.
For young people I work with, you never know who you sat next to. So I've actually known David I was 11. And I'm sure I do drive him completely crazy at times. But I'll be honest, I think the secret to the success is that I don't actually see that much of him. He is
okay.
David is here working away on the resources. Yes, we do write them together. We'll come together to make sure that a project is complete, but he'll be doing all the layout, the branding, the design, working with like photographers, making sure that everything is correct. Whereas I might be out at an event, running a workshop, working with teachers. So I think the key is probably that we don't spend that much time together at work.
I like that. I really do like that. Okay, so you mentioned there that you were creating resources, and David looked at them and thought, I could give you some help there. I mean, part of any journey is learning and developing, and there's growth in the journey. And so growth happens in all journeys. I'm going to ask you a sort of a sideways question here. What challenges have you faced on your journey?
Oh, yeah, there were many, many challenges. One, I think ultimately for me is that I'm a mum as well. So it's really hard finding that balance. It's fantastic to be supported by other like mums in business, which is absolutely brilliant. Makes you feel, really gives you that confidence when you speak to other people. And if you're feeling bad about things, or if somebody else spent the entire, say for example, May Springbank with their child, and I've been at work looking after other people's children, and there's been that like mum guilt. So I think that is a huge challenge. But it's amazing to speak to other women and mums in business who constantly assure you that you're doing the right thing and that you're setting an example for your children. So I do have to remind myself of that. So I think that is quite a big challenge, trying to balance running a business and having my family. We try to all go along on that journey together. We have a full mini Amazelab crew, and my 2 children are the founding members of the mini Amazelab crew. So the mini Amazelab crew, again, I didn't just want it to be myself writing and testing resources. I wanted real feedback from the young people that would be taking part in the Amazelab workshops. So yeah, we have tried to make it a full-on family affair, and that we are all involved in everything. Other challenges are as well, we are a project by project, business. We're always looking for new projects. We're always looking for new industry partners, new schools. Funding comes to an end. It's that constant application of trying to find that funding. And then I think as well, it's those gaps as well that occur in education. You might be running one workshop, you go into a school, they have a full suite of iPads. You'd have to be then fully adaptable and ready to change, because you might go into another where they have none, or they have one, or it's one between 60. So I think it's been really, really adaptable in what you do and speaking to other people. I absolutely love learning. I think that's why, I work in science. I'm a teacher. I've come from STEM industry myself. I used to work in the veterinary practice. I don't feel that I've ever stopped learning. It's something that I really, really enjoy. I don't think you ever know it all. So I'm always prepared and happy and really, really grateful when people want to speak to us and help us on this journey, really.
Right, that's amazing to hear, and I like you're talking about adaptability and never stop learning, and those are key themes. I know we give tips on the podcast, and we're going to come to our tips section, but those tips have just come out as we organically chat about tech journeys. So it's really, really great to hear. And I also like you touched on networks, because we're going, actually, you know what? We're going to skip ahead and talk about tips right now, because networks are really important. The 3 of us here, we've all met, well, I've met both of you in real life. So, we're real people, and we've all met at networking events. So, Rebecca, we met at Computing at School, through Computing at School. A network for computing teachers here in the UK. And Leonie, I met you through the Small Business Sunday network, which is a network here run by the former Dragon's Den entrepreneur Theo Pafitis. So, and I believe you're also part of other networks, aren't you?
Oh, we've been incredibly lucky, and again, it's I'm always really grateful when people want to help us as a business. I've had an absolutely amazing meeting this week that has really opened doors, and I'm incredibly grateful to people who give their time to work with us. We've been part of we were accepted onto the NatWest Accelerator again, which has been absolutely fantastic. I think when you have those little doubts, which I think are completely human and natural as well, when somebody says, "Oh, we're really interested in your business, we think this can do really well, come along and take part in our program," it gives you that little confidence boost, and puts your head held that a little bit higher, which is absolutely brilliant. And then I was so well privileged and honoured when in January with Small Business Britain and The Entrepreneur, they contacted me to say I was in their top 100 female entrepreneurs. I was absolutely blown away. I honestly had to get my husband to read that email, because I wanted to read it, and I was like, "What does that say?" Wow! I was absolutely gobsmacked. And David was like, "No, that is what they've written to tell you." And what a network that is. And it's so nice when people support each other. I am such a fan of collaboration over competition. We're all in it together. We're all in it in the whole to help young people in the business that we work in. So I really, really am a firm believer in collaboration and working together. And we've met just some fantastic people. When we say about networks as well, I'm a STEM ambassador. And they're fascinating people. You didn't even know that these jobs existed, and I work in the science field. I met the person who made fur on Harry Potter films. I mean, what a cool job. Cool. Be like a STEM ambassador. So absolutely amazing, connections, and we're very, very grateful for those. So I took my opportunity, didn't I, when we were at the big Theo Thesis event in February, and I spotted you across a crowded room, and I was like, "Oh, You know what? I'm going to pluck up the courage and I'm going to go and speak to you because I was really excited to meet you because I'd admired you from afar and I'd seen the work that you do. I thought we'd got a real, synergy in like the programs that we write. And again, sometimes it is just being that 1% braver as well, and isn't it? And thinking, do you know what? They can ignore me. They can go tell me to go away. But I think I might.
No.
I go up and have a word with them and say hello. So yeah, absolutely. I would encourage everybody, to not be shy and to really get involved in these events because it's absolutely fascinating who you can meet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really glad, you sort of said, "You're Beverly, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." And Lady was there with her husband, and I was there with my husband too, and I said hello to each other. So it's just really nice to meet people in real life, to network, and to build and develop those relationships. I think it's what drives you forward. One of the things that drives you forward in business. So one of the things that we discuss on these podcasts is what's happening in the tech news. And it's what's grabbing our attention in the tech news. And because, Leonie's our special guest, we're going to lead with Leonie. And I know that you have come across the use of AI in education, and we're all three of us on this call are former educators. So it's a topic near and dear and close to our hearts. So what's going on with AI in education? What are your observations?
I think there's a couple that I've seen recently that I found really, really interesting. We were down at the Science Museum in London, and it was the Small Business Britain AI report, which was absolutely fascinating. The way that they'd collected the data and spoken to so many companies was fantastic. So again, a real honour to be invited down to that launch. It was interesting to hear the head of innovation at BT. She was saying about university students, how was it coming towards the end of the dissertation, not generalizing, but she was saying it was getting harder and harder and harder to assess people's knowledge because people obviously were using programs, gathering information and turning it into a dissertation via AI. I mean, I'm not that old, I promise you, but I do honestly remember at university having to get on a train, driving around the whole of the country to find journals and papers and photocopying them to bring them back. So I thought that was really, really interesting how they were looking at ways just to assess knowledge and check people's understanding and that they did really understand what they'd written inside that dissertation. And the whole discussion was about whether they would go back to doing interviews at the end of university just to test that knowledge rather than just it being based on a dissertation and those exams. My other one that, again, I'm really excited to be a part of, we've recently been approached by an AI education company to run a pilot scheme. So we're going to work with the company and they're going to go into a number of our comprehensive, like mainstream secondary schools, then possibly look at primary as well and into post-16. And they're currently developing a program where it's a bit like a story. You work with characters, you go on a journey, but behind all of that, it's actually assessing the young people's knowledge of subjects. And that was not just science, it's for history, English, wide-ranging topics. And it then, via the power of AI, does then highlight gaps in the young people's knowledge, and it then points them in the right direction of what they can do to improve that. And I thought that was a really, really good project. I can see that being incredibly beneficial to a number of young people. So I think they're my two takeaways and highlights that I've been lucky enough to work on over the past 2 weeks.
Fantastic. That personalized learning, I think it's going to be massive. That's my prediction, one of my AI predictions.
Yeah, I think like with firstly, just circling back to the first one with the interviews. So I remember when like I was at university, I did a project in Visual Basic and I'd got really engrossed in it and I'd made it really quite technical because I just absolutely loved it and got really, really into it. And then I submitted it. I'd gone way above what I should have done. And they didn't believe that I'd made it. So I got called in and I actually had that kind of interview situation to explain my code and what I'd done. And it was quite scary because especially when you're a coder and a coder like me, Like, I will do something and I will forget how I did it, and it's just like I've done it now, it works. So it was quite a scary thing. I mean, I did manage to prove that I had written it by myself, but it was quite scary. But so it is just thinking about those sorts of learners that might
Yeah.
might not respond well in interviews, and it's how do we prepare people for that and practice it and that kind of thing. But I do think, yeah, we probably are going to have to go to something like that where it's more sort of live, so that you can sort of get that, you know, that they've thought about it and they can talk about it. But I think that's probably the best way, and also it prepares you for work as well, because you're going to have to talk about the work you do all the time when you start
Yeah, yeah.
job in the real world. So it is preparing you for that. And then the question that I have about this AI thing is, how are they making sure the questions are accurate?
Oh, no, that was my first
Yeah,
question. Yeah, when they approached us and they said, no, can you help us run the pilot in school? I said, well, I need to know, and I need to see the research and the data and where this information has come from, because I did not want to be part of the pilot where a young person, it was amazing to have this guided personalized learning, but then if it hadn't been checked correctly and it wasn't accurate, and then they went into an exam and wrote that information thinking they understood it really, really well. So yeah, it is something that was honestly my first question. It was the first thing that popped into my mind as a teacher. So yes, we
yeah.
have been able to do the due diligence and check all the sources of information.
And what are they
That's
doing about privacy of the young people with their responses and stuff? Is that being recorded or
Yeah, so
viewed or anything like that?
there is a screening on there. So obviously, as part of the pilot, they're going to be collecting data and improving things. But once they have ensured, and we've seen the evidence of this, that once it's going out into school, it will be it will be like screened. So there will be information in there, boxes that they can tick, and then it will not be shared with anybody else. And it will not be used to build any further programs, or nobody will be able to access that data.
I think that's really important, because I know that a lot of schools, a lot of
Yeah,
teachers and senior leaders are very worried about data
yeah.
privacy when it comes to using these AI tools. And it really is. I mean, we don't necessarily know exactly what's happening behind the scenes with that
no,
data, and
no, no.
it is really, really important that we protect our young people's data. Just, one example I saw about a month ago on LinkedIn, where somebody was uploading sports day images into ChatGPT and getting an illustrated version back, and thinking, well, that's okay because it's an illustrated version now of the children, and it's not really the images. And it's like, you've just uploaded pictures of children into
Yeah,
the ChatGPT. Did you ask parents permission?
yeah,
Because I know that I would have wanted to
yeah,
not give permission for that. So there's lots of things going on. We're trying to be innovative. We're trying to experiment with these AI tools. And we've got to really, really be careful about protecting our young people's data. Like, it really should be the forefront of everybody's mind.
oh,
So it's good that they
completely
are
agree.
thinking about that.
Yeah, completely agree. And I think whenever I go into a project as well, I have my teach hat on, I have my owner of a business hat on, but ultimately as well, I have my mum hat on.
Yeah.
And anything that would not be acceptable for my own children, I don't think is acceptable for anybody else's. I do that when I write a program, when I run a workshop.
Hmm.
That is part, and I think, if this isn't up there at a standard that I'd be happy for my own children to do, then I don't think it's right for anybody
Yeah.
else's. So yeah, completely agree. It is so important, and the fact that things are still so much in their infancy, and we don't know
Yes.
where things are going to go.
Mhm.
100% agree. That should be at everybody's forefront of the mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've just touched on security there, and also, humans are unpredictable. We have no idea of knowing how people are going to adapt to technology and the ways in which they're going to start thinking of using it. So that's a lot of the uncertainty and unknown of the tech journeys that we're all on. So, I mean, the security of notice come up in things like, Marks and Spencer's had a massive cyber attack, and that's,
Yeah.
disabled all their online shopping. And it's having a massive, massive impact. And also, along the tech journey is something I want to discuss, and it's around redundancies, because every single time I log on, there's another company, and generally big companies, laying off people. So that's changing the world of work. What is the future of work for us? are there new jobs being created? Because sometimes I've looked at job pages and the job titles and descriptions, which I just don't understand. And I'm just wondering where this pipeline is. But obviously, in some of the other roles that I fulfill, these conversations, I am inputting into those conversations, but it's where are the jobs being created? The pipeline. So it'd be really good to hear what you think about that, Leonie, and the redundancies and
Gosh,
gaps.
I think everything will, still need that human touch. I
Yeah.
think it'll need to be completely complemented by humans. I can provide you with a great example of this, to be honest, on a customer
Mm.
service level. Trying to return an item of clothing, I had an absolute
Mm.
nightmare. I'm a business owner myself. I try to be really, really understanding with companies, be so nice
Yeah.
about it, getting absolutely nowhere. And it was because it was being completely powered by like an AI bot. We
Mm.
ended up finally managing to get hold of somebody at the company, and they were completely mortified. But then I think we'd managed to highlight to them that they needed to be monitoring that system. It was
Mm.
not giving a good representation of their company. We could not return this item. We could not get, it was just going round and round and round in circles. So I think that
Mm.
really highlighted again for me that need that we need to have humans in there working. It will. I'd be very, very surprised if anything goes full A, that will not require a human to be monitoring or helping with something. I think there will be lots of new roles that we don't know about yet. That maybe young people, even as young as say year 5, maybe like 10, 11 years of age, maybe coming into those roles in the future. And it'll be really exciting to see those. I think I really like that saying about, the only certain thing in life is change. I think you do have to keep adapting and changing and trying to be really, really forward thinking, but then not just going with something if it's not right either, taking that step back
Mm.
and say, well,
Yeah.
hold on, is this actually working? Have we actually done all the proper, assessment of it? Is it correct?
Mm.
Like that example of the company I've just used, the clearly great, we've got this brand new system, this is brilliant, we don't have to man it, but it didn't work ultimately. So I think really having those check-ins that things are working and are correct.
Yeah, with those customer service Gen AI chatbot conversations that you have, I know that when it's done properly, you have people monitoring the whole chat, so they'll be watching the chat and the conversation between them, and then they can jump in if it sort of goes in the wrong direction. Or if they do a good job, then you can do the reinforcement learning. You can say, "Yep, that was a great response to that," and they use knowledge bases within the company to pick up, common FAQs and things like that. So it can be done right, but yes, you definitely need those humans keeping an eye on it and watching it, because you definitely don't want situations. I had a similar situation as well with a delivery again that had turned up, and clearly there was something going on, in the IT system that wasn't quite right. Rang up yesterday morning, got a human on the phone, solved it in 30 seconds, problem solved. And we absolutely need those. And then I always think it's always about learning how to work with the technology to
Yeah.
help you be more efficient and go faster. That's what it's there for. And it's same with learning designers. So people think, oh yeah, we don't need learning designers anymore, but you do. You have to be able to plan the structure of a curriculum. You have to
Mhm.
know the young people that you're going to be working with, and you have to structure things accordingly. Yes, you can use it to help you go faster, but you're always going in and refining it, or that's not quite right. And so you need that human intervention with it as well. You can't just go, make me a lesson plan on biology and get like a whole thing. It's not going to work like that. And it does, like, it's not going to be tailored and authentic for the young people that you're working with. So yes, we're going to see changes. We're probably going to see redundancies where companies might jump ahead too quickly, I think, and that's what's
Yeah,
happening,
yeah.
isn't it? They're going, oh, I've got this tool now, I don't need the humans. But and it happened with Duolingo as well. Actually, was it Duolingo? I think it was, wasn't it? Where they brought in AI too quickly, and people got annoyed with that, and I think they are rolling back, or they might be. We'll have to check that one. We'll put it in the description in later, just to double check. I'm pretty sure it was that one. But yeah, we can't jump in too quickly. We've got to learn how to work with these tools and adapt. you know, and that's the important part.
Adapting, that
Yeah.
that segment there, that word,
Yeah.
adapting, that's a really key word in a tech journey. I want to turn our attention to pivotal moments, and I know that Leonie has just had another pivotal moment in her career, and I believe you've recently published a book.
Oh, I have. I can show you it here if you can see
All
it. So,
right.
yeah,
Okay,
thank
maybe
you
on
so
rainbow.
much.
Tell us,
Yeah.
tell our listeners more.
So my book is called Make Your Own Rainbow, A Colourful Approach to All Things STEAM. Again, it was inspired during that lockdown learning, and the idea is that we use really colourful approaches and be inspired by the rainbow to use creativity to break down barriers to STEM learning. These subjects really are for everybody, and sometimes it's really sad that people are put off by them or not encouraged to do them. So we're really hoping that this book can just ignite that little spark in somebody to find that, you know, there's 40 different activities in there. It's for absolutely everybody. It's curriculum linked to it. It can just be done at home and have lots and lots of loads and loads of fun. But yeah, oh wow, as a pivotal moment, I could not believe it. It was one of those moments where I was asked to submit these ideas for a book, and I was like, wow, this is exciting. And then that went, and then I was very excited that I got the email back saying we'd like to write a book. But then I had that moment of, oh my goodness, I've now actually got to write a book. Like, they all felt really amazing. And then I was like, oh, that's difficult. And I absolutely adored the part where we got all the young people involved and we wrote experiments and we took photos of them. That was absolutely amazing. That bit was great. And then the bit where it keeps coming back with red on it, that's not good. I will put my hands up. Writing this book has honestly been one of the hardest things I have ever done. I don't know if people appreciate how difficult it is. I need to give absolute full credit to Crown House Publishing, who tolerated and put up with me and were so supportive. I'd never ever done anything like this before, and I honestly didn't know how to do it. And this was a massive learning journey and learning curve. And I am so grateful to the people that got me here. And then the moment where they sent me the books, and I've got an absolutely beautiful picture of my two children holding the books, was just incredible. What a moment. So I have so much respect for anybody that is an author and writes a book, and I'm so grateful to my publishers for all of their help, because yeah, it was a journey, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, well, it is really hard work. Yeah, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we're all three of us are all published authors, and you know, it's amazing. It's an achievement, and you know, fly that authoring flag. You hold your book up again.
Yeah.
Oh, we should all hold them up. What? Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. So, okay, where can people get hold of it? You know, so
it is available in all good bookshops. Oh, I've always wanted to say that. How cool is that? Yeah, but no, it's available via Crown House Publishing. If, say, you were like a whole school trust, they will give discount for bulk orders across the trust as well, which is absolutely fantastic. You can buy it from places like Amazon, WH Smith's, Waterstones. Yeah, if you just pop it into Google, Make Your Own Rainbow, Colourful Approach to All Things STEAM, the big long list comes up of places you can buy it. Thank you so much.
Oh,
yeah, that's amazing.
You know what? Time flies by really quickly. And we've been having a blast, just having a really good chat. I just like, and our listeners really enjoy hearing us share tips. And I think today, you know, let's just give one tip from each of us to our listeners to help them on their tech journey. So, you know, Leonie, you're our special guest. And then we come to Rebecca, and then yeah, we'll share tips. Leonie.
I think I'm going to go with the educational app that I've been working on recently. So again, I was very lucky to be invited to be involved in a pilot study of an educational app, working with the amazing Sam, who owns a patch. And it's an absolutely brilliant app for schools and parents, where young people, you can download it onto the devices or the smartphones, and they actually have to complete a quiz and the homework prior to unlocking the phone. I was really wondering, I thought we'd have quite a negative response from the young people when we did the pilot. It was last academic year. The app's now launched and available to buy. But the response was fantastic. And they really, really enjoyed it. And it said that it gave them real motivation and really like key moments to complete the homework. And I know that that app is expanding all the time. So yes, I would definitely recommend that educational app. I think it's a great resource and really, really useful.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Should I go with my tip?
Oh, yes, go for it.
Okay. So I always struggle to come up with tips, but I think I've got one. I think I've got a decent one. So I'm obviously run a business. We're kind of like, we do lots of contract work, we get grants and things like that. So workload comes in ebbs and flows. So suddenly you're doing absolutely tons of things and it quietens down a little bit, and then it gets and it can get a bit overwhelming keeping track of all that. So I think my tip is just been, when you get those really full on times, is just really taking a step back and looking at everything you've got to do and just planning exactly when you are going to do everything, because I just find that makes me feel so much better. If I'm feeling really, really overwhelmed, I'll be like, okay, let's look at the calendar, let's put the tasks into the calendar, and let's like spread it all out and make sure we're meeting our deliverables on all of these things. And then I feel just so much calmer when I see it all planned out. And then when I start my morning, I just look at my calendar and I go, okay, today I am doing this and this, and that's all I need to worry about right now. So I think that's it. And we do it all in a spreadsheet, believe it or not, because I absolutely love Excel and doing spreadsheets. So I just put all the tasks in a spreadsheet with the dates, and it automatically makes a calendar for me. So I can go to the June tab and I can see everything that's happening in June, and I've got all the months of the year up to April, and I can really quickly see what I'm meant to be doing, what my deliverables are, and it's just fantastic. So to me, is when it gets to those overwhelming points, just sit, take a step back, and just plan, and you can do it.
I love a good plan. Planning is
Yep.
important. All
Yeah.
right. So one of the hats I wear is that of a life coach, and I've got this book, 30 Tips for Self-Development to Transform Your Life and Your Career. And I'm going to share with you, share with you what it looks like inside. So there's tips and also a reflective section. And it's about networking because, of course, we spoke about just networking earlier. So tip number 12 is network all of the time, not just when you need something, because, you know, it's about just building
We all
relationships.
know the difference, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've basically said this will reap dividends as you will be known and opportunities will then come to you. Okay, so it's really, really important. And then I've got a activity. Who would you like to add to your network and why? How is that person going to help you?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know if they'd help me, but if I could have anybody in my network, it would be my absolute hero, Helen Sharman. I am from the Steel City. You know, I'm a woman of steel from Sheffield. So I'm not surprised really that I work in STEM and STEAM, because I've been brought up on it. Oh, I remember being in a porter cabin at a classroom in Sheffield, and I still remember this like it was yesterday. And I must have had an amazing teacher, because she really focused on Helen Sharman blasting off to the space station, and it was such a pivotal moment in my life. I absolutely still adore this woman. I've never met her, but she's clearly had such a huge influence on my career, because I'm now a chemist from Sheffield, exactly like Helen, but I haven't obviously gone into space. So if I could have somebody in my network, it would definitely be Helen Sharman. She's honestly such a hero of mine. When I've been lucky enough to be invited to do talks like International Women's Day, I always speak about Helen. Word did get back to her during lockdown. I was worried that she was thinking, who is this crazy lady? And to this day, I still don't actually know if they got our address. But during lockdown, I did receive a signed photo from Helen's agent that I absolutely adore.
Wow.
Still treasure, because I think there's like, why is this woman just going on about Helen constantly? But yeah, that I would have Helen Sharman in my network.
There you go. That's how the book.
Such an inspiration to me.
Perfect. I like that. I think we're going to wrap things up there with that, because that's how the book is intended to be used, to really think about it. Well, we're going to wrap things up. So, thank you so much, Leonie, for joining us today and sharing your tech journey. It's been amazing. And you know what? We've gone over time today, and we could do this for a whole hour or so. So it's been fantastic. So please do share your book. Let everyone know how they can get hold of you.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, please do look for our super colourful Amazelab logo. It's a conical flask with a rainbow inside of it. Search for Amazelab across all social media to get a real flavour. You know, have a look on the Amazelab Instagram page. It'd be a big pictorial guide of what we get up to, or contact us on info@amazelab.co.uk. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Leonie.
Brilliant.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And that's a wrap.
Wrap up.
It's a wrap. Yeah. Keep in touch with us, and we'll see you, and you'll hear us again on another episode with another very special guest. See you again soon.
See you soon. Bye-bye.